Hello and welcome to my channel. I'm Michaela Peters. I'm in the library, so I'm being kind of quiet today, so hopefully people can hear me on this video. It is so cold in the library. Sometimes I forget about that, and I think I'm just not used to this weather right now, so that's why I'm wearing a hat. It's not for fashion, it's because I'm freezing, and I also have my coat on my lap. So I went to the doctor's today, and I just want to talk about how phenomenal that experience was. Just such a weird thing to talk about. I'm also doing the experiment now that I'm in Finland where I want to see if I do a video about Finland in Finland if it gets more hits. Like, yeah, totally dumb, but no, it's not. I'm messing with the algorithm, I guess, and seeing if it's geolocated. So, okay, here's a thing that I told my one friend today, and I was like, I have to make a YouTube video about this. It's like the difference between going to the doctors in the US and going to the doctors in Finland is in the US, I just feel like I'm a dollar bill. A $100 bill. No, I don't know. Some sort of a very expensive dollar bills going on. In Finland, it just feels like they're just doing their job and they actually give a crap about you. And also, like, something I have to get re-used to is people just not freaking out and being constantly rushed around me. So, like, the ambient stress thing I think I've talked about a little bit. Somebody had emailed me, actually, and was kind of, like, I was getting the vibe that they were, like, had started a career in Finland and they were sort of, like, wanting to go back to the US to have a career there instead. And I honestly do have a lot of opinions about that, but I think I'm going to save that for another video because I have to kind of like think through that. And it's like people are constantly asking me, like, if you like Finland, why don't you just move there? I'm like, because I love my job. Like, literally, like, this is a really hard thing. Liking your job, it's just like liking your job is kind of like being in a really good relationship. It's like you have no reason to ever leave it, so why would you? Like, nothing is wrong with it. Like, there's literally no point. Like, that's how it feels. I don't know, but that's what I imagine it feels like. So yeah, and then I saw this like Ule news article that said something about how job vacancies had dropped by 20% since last year, like open job vacancies, and I'm like, yeah, this is why I'm not coming to Finland, like, because I couldn't get a job here. You can't live without a job. And like, you know, as much as I say I'll do anything and I'd go work at McDonald's, I don't like particularly want to do that if I don't have to. Okay, and it's not like, oh, it's beneath me. It's just, it's like mentally understimulating. That's why I'm doing a PhD I don't get paid for yet, but that's my fault that I'm not looking harder for funding. So, could be doing that too. But anyway, I'm like super exhausted, and people are telling me I look exhausted, and I probably still look exhausted. But I took a nap here in this little cube, and luckily nobody bothered me. I had a dream somebody was telling me to wake up, but don't know if that was true or not. Sometimes it's just like that. Okay, but when I went to the doctor's today, it was so cool because I tried booking an appointment online and I booked the wrong appointment. I think there's literally only the cleaning guy down here. No, yeah, that is just the cleaning guy. Okay, so I booked the wrong appointment, and then it was really cool because they were like, "Oh, we're just gonna send you over to the other nurse," and then they made that work. And then, dude, these people are always like, they're like, puhutko somea? And I'm like, vähän. And then I'm like, puhutko englantia? And they're like, vähän. But they actually speak English, okay? I'm just like, they asked me if I speak Finnish, and I'm like, a little bit. And I'm like, do you speak English? And they're like, a little bit. But then, like, I was thinking about this. Like, she said something today where she's like, something about taking something, like, putting my hand on my lap, like, when I was doing a blood pressure thing. And I'm like, I don't even know the word lap in Russian. So I was like, these people really know English very well. And then they just are like, oh, it's not perfect. Like, yes, you're not a native speaker. I understand how that feels, but like, I still know what you're talking about. And then I'm like, I really should learn Finnish just so I can like read things more easily. But I think getting to a point where I could do a doctor's appointment in Finnish, oh my god, that'd be like 10 years from now. Okay. But yeah, it was just like a situation where she was asking me a lot of questions, and I felt like she actually cared about me instead of just like, you know, oh, you're here for your appointment. And one of the things I hate doing in the US is going to doctor's appointments. Like, I literally hate going to doctor's appointments with a passion. Probably also helps that going to doctor's appointments here is not occurring in the middle of my workday the same way it does in the US. So like, if it's taking a while, I'm like, oh, I gotta get back to the computer, even though I always have my computer with me because I'm crazy. But yeah, I mean, and then people are usually just like kind of interested about like why I'm even here and like whether I like it and stuff. But she just asked me like how long I've been in the US, and then like, I mean, in Finland. And then she's like asking me questions about like, I guess some family stuff. I don't know. Like, it was just like, like, so, actually, I'm not sure I've ever mentioned this on my channel, but one of the weird things, because I did have a job in Finland at some point, because what I'm explaining is it's not just like, oh, I went to the doctors and this happened. This is like a universal thing across the US, is that like talking a lot about your personal life in more professional settings, like going to the doctors or like my professional job, it's like not really a thing. So I remember when I was like working my intern job here, like my thesis position, I was like going to Australia. My manager actually cared and was like asking me questions about it and like why I was going, what was I gonna do there, and then like he's like, oh yeah, I went to the US once, I was here and here, and like, oh yeah, I went to New Jersey, and then we talked about that. But like it feels like they're looking for ways to connect with you more than Americans do. Maybe it's just like Americans are so small talk oriented and Finns are less so that way, so it just feels like maybe you get to a more personal like meat of the conversation thing quicker, and that's just universal. I also don't know if maybe like because I'm a native speaker, Finnish people are excited to speak with me. Like I really can't figure out why. Like I just like I feel like any interaction I have with a random Finnish person is usually pretty good, honestly, except for the ones where it's like the drunk grandpa on the street offering me vodka. I'm still traumatized by that one, and that happened like 3 years ago. That honestly hasn't happened since, but that's just an exceptionally bad example. Usually, like, older people always try to talk to me, and then I'm like, English, and then they're like, sometimes, I'd say 70%, 75% of the time they're like, no, and then they just stop the conversation right there. And I'm like, I guess I just look really approachable then, which is actually true. I do look approachable, apparently, because I get approached a lot from a lot of different situations. So, yeah, it was just a really different experience, and she asked me some questions, and I told her, like, some kind of personal things that, like, I would tell a friend, like, that I wouldn't just tell, like, my doctor necessarily. So, that was why I thought it was really interesting. I keep getting these spam calls, it's very annoying. From the US, yes. So, I don't know. I just thought it was a cool experience, and I wanted to share it, and it made me happy. And then I was like, you know, I've been here like 24 hours, and I'm already happy, even though I'm exhausted. I'm literally so tired. Coming this way is always so rough with adjusting to the time zones, and I sometimes like forget about that. When I was in Hawaii and coming back to New Jersey, it was easy because I was on my mom's weird schedule of waking up at like 6 or 7 a.m. and then going to sleep at 9 or 10 p.m., which I'm not normally doing. Normally I'm waking up at 9 and going to bed at midnight. So, yeah, I'm not really sure what else to add to that. I wish I could go into more details about the visit, but I'm not going to do that publicly. So I'll tell my friends later. Yeah, because people are like, wow, you put so much out there. I'm like, no, I put a very curated sample of what I feel like putting out here. Because I'll go back and listen to some stuff, and I'm like, yeah, I mean, I could see why people think it's a lot, but at the same time, it's like really not. Yeah, but it was cool. And so basically, like, why did I even go to the doctor? Like, I'm, and I explained this a little bit on the Russian one. It's like I'm looking at going I'm looking at like whether I want to get some sort of more, let's say, major procedure done here or in the US, and where it's going to cost less, and just like where I think I want to do the thing. So essentially, I'm duplicating some of my doctor's visits for the purpose of market research. Also, I'm sort of like, okay, if I were to live here like actually all the time and did not have access to US health insurance, like what would this process look like here? So me doing an experiment, as usual. But yeah, that I was like, I just feel happiest when I like go on the bus and I'm just walking around the city center by myself, just chilling. Such a good feeling. And then I'm in people detox for about 3 weeks, and then I'll start telling people I'm here. And this time there's not even a deadline. It's just I'm so exhausted from everything that happened when I was in the US for 2 weeks, for 2 months, and I don't want to think about the housing thing, even though I kind of have to a little bit, but I just want to chill, man, and I'm working on it. But yeah, I wanted to go to the sauna today, but I'm too tired even for the sauna, so it's not gonna happen. So I'm gonna finish working, and then I'm gonna migrate back to my friend's house. And hope that in 2 days I don't feel this tired. Ugh. Alright, so until next time when I'm alone in the cubicle thing. Alright, bye.